video. Today I'm going to play another game of Bloons TD6, and I'm going to tell you a few weird dreams that I also had. So, without further ado, let's pick up a game. So I'm going to play another round. Let's play a new map. I'm going to try, let's say, resort map. And I'm going to choose medium and standard. And so this is the map. So if you have not watched the other videos, you feel free to do, because I played this game in a previous video, and I'm gonna play this like the fourth video of this game, so yeah. So if you have not watched this video, I'm playing this game, Bloons Tower Defense 6. You basically build towers, and you fight against balloons, and you try to pop them before they reach the end. So okay, so that's round 1. Let's speed it up to round 2. And I'm going to put a few more towers after the second round or so. So yeah. So this gameplay can get really long and boring, and so I'm going to probably tell you some stories of what happened in my past few nights, because I actually had a few weird dreams that I had like a few nights ago, and I remember one of them pretty vividly. So you can see there are blue balloons that come here in round 4, and blue balloons take 2 hits to pop. And so if I try to pop one blue, it's gonna turn into red, and that's because a blue balloon has a red balloon inside of it. So yeah. And the game goes, and it's pretty easy at first. And there's green ones, I have blue ones inside, which have red ones inside. And yeah, I'm gonna place this guy here. I'm gonna lower down the volume just a tad bit, 2%. I don't know why it's pretty loud. It's still pretty loud at even 2%. See, I'm almost like a sixth of the way, like I'm round 8 at round 10. I'm gonna be like a sixth away from beating this game mode. I beat in harder game modes, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna beat an easier game mode, which is medium. Okay, so yeah. So are you ready for me to tell you a story of my dream? So yeah, let's get into it. So the reason why I chose this map is because it has a little pool here. This little pool means I could place water monkeys, and this is kinda will be in line of part of my dream. So it starts off with me being inside a large gymnasium at my old primary school. So at my old primary school, it had a big gymnasium that has yellow walls and a banner of green wall bands, stripes along the walls, and it has a picture of a desert, which is actually a rock climbing desert and the landscape or something, the landscape of the desert. And so I was at this gymnasium, and I was actually an adult, so it's basically my age, maybe a few years younger. I'm gonna upgrade this because it's pretty cool. My tower just shoots like this. It shoots more attacks in more directions, I would say. So I just upgraded that because the rounds are getting harder. So I was at this gymnasium, and I was an adult. And then there happened to be furniture like couches and tables and floaters even. And I don't know why they're there, but I was really confused. So this gymnasium has some furniture, just like as if it was turned into a giant living room. And so I just happened to randomly hang out in that room, and there were some random people along that area. And you know what's crazy is that the room started to fill with water. It was slowly starting to fill with water. So it slowly filled into water, as if it's turning into a large swimming pool. And the water filled up so fast, it's like there's current moving. And the furniture started to suddenly float around, and those floaters are actually floating right now. And I tried to land on one of them, and I quickly fell. No matter how hard I tried to get myself back up into this floater. And so it actually turned into this giant swimming pool. A giant swimming pool. And so what else happened is that I tried to swim, and I just tried to navigate through that. And then what else happened is that there's this guy at the tower that is pointing a camera at me, as if there happened to be a lifeguard at that dream location. That is, once again, this gymnasium that suddenly filled with water, and that it turned into some kind of swimming pool. Oh, by the way, back to this game. This balloon is camo, which means I can't see it. If towers can't see it if it doesn't have particular upgrades. So that's an easy fix. Sorry, I just cut the video because I had to sneeze, but basically this ninja monkey can straight off and detect camo balloons. And I don't have to have a tower that shoots camos because a lot of the towers have upgrades which can detect camo balloons. So this, for example, this boat, if I upgrade the bottom path, long range, and crow's nest, this tower now can shoot camo balloons. So yeah. So back to this dream. So in this dream, I was just swimming around and trying my best to stay afloat. And then this guy at this tower just points a camera, and suddenly, I don't know why, but I can see through the camera while I'm still trying to move along this flooded gymnasium, which actually now is like meters and meters deep. And the water is actually salt water. I don't know why, but it's like as if I'm at a beach but it's just a swimming pool. So, and I'm able to struggle and move and try to get up, and stranded in this furniture-filled pool while this guy at this tower is pointing his camera, and then I can see through this camera for some reason. And then I happen to, like, as if I'm watching the person watching me. You know what it is? Watching the guy watching me through his camera at his high ground tower near the pool. So things have passed, and it was a while and until the water started draining and draining slowly but surely, and this pool slowly became drier and drier until there was little water left. It went from a giant pool all the way down to this slow moving stream of water sipping through, and it had a lot of salt in it, so it's like this foamy water just sipping through this now barren, empty room, which used to be filled with water, but now all of the furniture is now sitting, not afloat anymore, and there's no more water left. So I'm like surprised, how did all of this water drain in such a short amount of time? And so I'm gonna put another tower. This tower is a mortar tower, and this tower is cool because I can set the target of which area I would like to aim my mortar. So I'm gonna aim it here. See here, the mortar. I set a target, and this is where this tower will shoot. So that's a pretty cool tower. So yeah, at the stream, I basically now ended up wet and soaked in this empty gymnasium, save for these couches and this furniture. I'm not gonna say that it's empty. It's empty from water. There's no more water left. And yeah, I am really wet and cold. And that is weird. Until the fact that I am no longer in this room anymore. I don't know why, but this area has turned into a boat. Like, and where there's a big ocean around me, and I'm at this empty area of the boat with the furniture sitting on top of it. So it's no longer a room. It's now this giant boat with nothing much except for this same room. The contents of the room. Except as if the room has its walls taken away, and I am surrounded with ocean water all around me. On top of this boat. And this is the part where I start to forget this dream. I don't know anything much, but I used to remember a lot until now. Because this dream happened like a few days ago, maybe a week ago, but yeah. So let's speed it up. Let's go back to this game, because that's basically the end of my first stream. So I'm gonna go back to this game and show you the next balloon that appears. So the game's getting a bit harder, and this is round 40, which means that I have to defend this massive thing. So I'm going to pop this cannon ship there's like a blimp. It's called a Moab, but it's basically this giant blue thing. Basically, is like a blimp that takes 200 or so hits from towers, or more to say that it has 200 health because some towers can deal more than 1 damage, and so it takes like 200 health to pop. And once it's popped, it will spawn like 4 ceramic balloons, which spawn into rainbows, into zebras, into blacks and whites, and then pinks, all the way down to red. And so, round 40 is pretty scary if you don't have your defenses beefed up. So, I am going to play this game, and by the time I hit round 50, I'm going to tell you another dream story. So, in the meantime, for the next 8 or so rounds, until round 50, I'm going to describe you the towers I'm using right now. So, I'm going to tell you the state of the game of this Bloons game. So, if you earlier, the blimp at round 40 called a Moab, you saw that it like just disappeared. Normally it would spawn children balloons, but in this case, this guy here has an ability where it selects targets and marks a balloon, and if you pop that balloon, it just disappears and gives you a bit of gold. So it can be pretty good. And upgrade this guy to really shoot really fast. Look at that. Look how much money I have. So I'm also going to make a farm here and make a bank here. Basically, this tower basically gives you money over time. These 2 towers, if you have a lot of money that you don't really use, it's better off to put it to build a farm tower, which you can later on make a lot of money later on. I'm just playing in super fast speed, and you know these heart-shaped balloons. These balloons that are shaped like hearts, heart-shaped, that means that balloons, if popped, will slowly grow back into layers over time. So if you pop like a big heart balloon that's heart-shaped, you pop it down to red, it will turn into back to blue, to green, to yellow, and to back to pink if you don't pop it quickly. So, and you know that some balloons, like some tiers, spawn multiple children. It can be problematic if they are heart-shaped, because if you pop a rainbow heart-shaped balloon and turn it into like blacks and whites, it will slowly grow back into rainbow, which if popped, it will multiply the children inside as if it's farming. It's spawning more balloon types. So there's a case that if you don't pop him quicker enough, it will slowly turn into more balloons later on and cause more harm to your game. And so this is round 49. I'm pretty much destroying everything. In the next round we'll have more of these giant blimps. So there's more of these heart-shaped guys, and I'm gonna build another bank. And you see there's more blimps. You can see that there's this glitchy effect. That means that this guy, this hero, marks this balloon. Marked. It means that if I kill that, it's going to not spawn any children and give you gold. So that's round 50, and there's another one here. I have this boat. this boat here has an ability, as an upgrade where it gives me an ability to take down a Moab. So, with 10 rounds left to go, I'm going to tell you another dream story. Another dream that I had, which is a bit on more on the scary side. So if you get scared too easily, don't worry, because there's always this gameplay footage that I show you, and there's not going to be any jump scares or anything like that. So this dream happened like many years ago. In fact, it happened when I was like a only little kid. So here's how the dream took place. So I'm in a car, and it's at nighttime. I don't know what season, I don't know what time of year it was, but it was at night. More so in the evening hours. I was going I was on a trip where my parents would have to pick their other parent up. So my dad has to drive to my mother to pick her mother up from work, because my mother works night shifts. Let's say at a hospital. I'm not gonna name it, but she works there, and back in the days, so I'm not sure, but at that dream she works at the hospital. So in this dream world, my father takes me to pick her up at this hospital. And then what happened is that I'm at the back seat, and I turned my head to a window, the back window of the car, and there's just this weird, creepy face that right in front of my face jump scared me. Like, I turned my head around in my car, and there's just weird, this guy with a lot of holes in his head with two big red eyes and a weird grin, showing up a weird grin on my right in front of me. And I started crying in my dream. And I don't know why, but I forgot what hospital it was, but it was a massive hospital. It was so big that doesn't even match the hospital that exists in real life. The hospital was like a skyscraper that extended beyond the sky. That's where my parent works in this dream. And so I thought I was acting crazy, and so I decided to stay in the backseat of the car. And then my parent picked my mother up from this dream world hospital, and then we went down to go back home. And then what else happened is that I felt scratching inside of this at the back behind me, and I felt like I was being watched, not by my parents, but someone else. So I turned my head around, and then right again, there's this weird face that looks deformed with a lot of holes in his skin, with big, giant, red eyeballs. And I actually started crying like heavily. And then my parents says, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a dream." Yeah, I was really tired, and I fell asleep. And then I just was really not prepared to see what's going next. And then, because I wasn't prepared, I was like inside in this back seat, and I turned my head around, and then he is right in front of me. This face there was no other body parts that I saw. It's just this weird lots of holes, and it's really, really hard to look at. It was like laughing at me and as showing this huge grin. It was showing this giant grin on his face, and I was really, 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 really tearing up, and I was crying like a baby, and I was scared that I didn't want to end up going back to this back seat of the car, and I was really, 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 really crying. So my parents says, "Don't worry, we're not gonna take you back to the back seat. It's time for you to sit at the front." Something like that. They just said that. They said that you don't have to go in this back seat, but he makes me sit at the front again. So I don't know why, but after this dream, I was like actually scared of going to the back seat at night. Because I remember going on a trip back in the days where I've seen these yellow street lights flooding into the back seats, knowing that there is someone or some face might be lurking behind me as I sit at the back seat. So this will conclude my second dream, and therefore my Bloons game has just ended, so I won. And yeah, so I basically won, and I'm going to end this video right now. I hope that you got new tingles. Please drop a like if you got new tingles. Don't forget, if you find Nick in this video, comment down below the timestamp, and I'll see you again in the next video. Peace out.